Hey everyone, Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to Crime Zone. As many of you are probably already aware, we experienced some issues with last week's countdown list covering viewer-suggested cases. It was disappointing, not only because we worked really hard on the video, but because it was supposed to be a special release. We wanted to cover viewer-suggested cases in honor of our 100th video, as well as to thank all of you who've continued to support our channel. While we unfortunately haven't been able to confirm exactly what caused the problem, after running several tests, we decided that the best way to ensure that it doesn't happen again is to split this particular list into 4 separate parts, each covering a single case. All of these parts are now available, and we'll be sure to include links to them in the description below. We'd also like to announce that we will resume our regular posting schedule for our longer countdown videos next Thursday. And as a thank you for your patience, we will be covering even more of the cases that you previously suggested to us. With that out of the way, here is part 1 of 4 interesting cases that were suggested by you.
On the morning of February 13, 2009, 14-year-old Amber Dubois began her normal weekday walk to Escondido High School in North County, California. The bright, blue-eyed teenager was especially excited for school that day. Not only was she carrying Valentines with her for the upcoming holiday, but she was going to receive a lamb to raise as part of a school science project for the Future Farmers of America program. Amber left the house at approximately 7 a.m. that morning and was seen by at least 2 different parents as she walked the several blocks towards school. However, Amber's family would soon learn that she never arrived. When she failed to return home in the afternoon, her mother Carrie and stepfather Dave began a frantic search, retracing her route to school, putting up flyers, and knocking on doors of their neighbors. They also contacted the Escondido Police Department. Despite the family's insistence that Amber had been kidnapped, police said that they were looking into all possibilities. From the start, this became one of the 2 main theories of the case, investigated simultaneously as authorities explored the possibility of foul play. Within days, the focus had shifted to Amber's stepfather, Dave, and his supposedly suspicious behavior on the morning of the disappearance. For starters, Dave had been the last one to see Amber before she had left the house that day. Curiously, he had also not gone to work that day and had instead gone to the gym before returning home to do his taxes. After that, he had surprised Carrie at work with chocolate-covered strawberries, even though Valentine's Day wasn't until the next day. Carrie would later tell police that Dave had hung around for a long time after dropping off the gift and that she had to ask him to leave. As the investigation continued and authorities continued to suspect Dave, tensions began to rise in the family. At one point, Carrie briefly even moved out of the house she shared with him, taking their daughter Allison with her. However, ultimately the theory of Dave's involvement would prove to be a dead end. As weeks turned into months, police began to exhaust their leads, yet came no closer towards figuring out what had happened to Amber. As their desperation grew, Carrie, as well as Amber's birth father, Mo Dubois, continued to pour their own financial resources into the investigation. In August, Carrie hired a team of live scent search and recovery dogs to retrace Amber's steps leading up to her disappearance. The dogs tracked Amber's scent to the Escondido High School and then a further 15 miles down a stretch of highway leading to a remote area of the Paula Indian Reservation. Unfortunately, after that, the trail went cold. This would be the last major break in the investigation until a second disturbing disappearance in North County would crack the case wide open. On February 25, 2010, a 17-year-old high school senior named Chelsea King vanished while jogging at the Rancho Bernardo Community Park near Lake Hodges. It was just 10 miles from where Amber had gone missing a year earlier. However, unlike in Amber's case, this time there was hard evidence. Shortly after Chelsea's disappearance, searchers found her underwear and socks near the running trail where she had been jogging. DNA found at the scene led investigators to a man named John Albert Gardner. Not only did Gardner have a prior conviction for a sexual offense against a 13-year-old girl, he was also linked to several other near abductions in the area. Within just a few days, Chelsea's body was discovered in a shallow grave near the lake, and Gardner had confessed to her murder. Though police suspected that Chelsea and Amber's cases were connected, this was officially confirmed after Gardner agreed to plead guilty to both murders in exchange for prosecutors agreeing not to seek the death penalty. As part of the agreement, Gardner led police to Amber's remains, which were sadly recovered on the Paula Reserve in early March of 2010, less than a mile from where the tracking dogs had led Amber's mother 6 months earlier. Adding a further layer of tragedy to the case, it was soon reported that Gardner had dozens of parole violations which would have sent him back to prison before either Amber or Chelsea had been killed. Gardner ultimately pled guilty to the rapes and murders of both teenagers, as well as the attempted rape of a third woman. In May of 2010, he was sentenced to 2 terms of life imprisonment without parole, another term of 25 years to life for assault with attempt to commit a rape, and an additional 24 years of imprisonment for prior convictions. Though it's easy to understand how the murder of a child could destroy any parent, Amber's family has since reportedly managed to find peace after her death. Carrie, in particular, has said in multiple interviews that she confronted Gardner after his conviction and forgave him when he answered her questions about Amber's death. In the following years, she launched an organization called Team Amber Rescue, dedicated to assisting in other missing persons cases. She also got a yellow Labrador and taught it to search. In 2011, Carrie and her dog successfully found the remains of missing nursing student Michelle Lee in Northern California. Carrie has since retired from her organization and moved to the outskirts of Escondido. She still lives with Dave and her daughter, and the family continues to work to keep Amber's memory alive.
Would you like to see us cover more viewer-suggested cases? Be sure to let us know in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Crime Zone for more true crime content like this, making sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest releases. Thank you for watching.